Ride back in Bladenboro, where my parents live, where I grew up. Wish I had discovered cycling a little bit earlier in my life, because these are some pretty flat roads to learn to ride on. Some pretty nice scenery too. And I'm just going to show you a little bit about the roads where I grew up. So hang in there with me. Probably going to do maybe 70 miles today. Don't worry, I won't be recording all of it. Here's an example of the type of roads that you'll find here. There's a car coming, but it's basically straight for about 5 miles that way. And then we come over and you got a little bit of a turn, but this is pretty much how it is for another 5 miles the other direction. And that's where we're headed. Not Tar Heel, but Fayetteville.
This is what you'll see most of the route. Some turns in the road, but you'll find a lot of straight stuff as well. Here I am riding with the camera in my mouth. Didn't mount it on my head to give me more versatility. There was quite a bit of traffic on the road. And here's a mill pond. It's a swampy area, and this is where they would dam things up to be able to mill things. Too bad I wasn't close enough to draft. And a funny thing came up. I saw a chain gang out picking up trash. Decided not to film them. Afraid of the guys with the shotguns. Now we're coming into a little place, a town that you saw on the sign back there called Tar Heel. So for all you Tar Heel fans, this is a little city in southeastern North Carolina with the name. I was noticing flags. This one, thank goodness, was to my back, so I figured I'd have a pretty good ride all the way to Fayetteville, since that wind was to my back. About 152 feet elevation. By this point I had climbed 118 feet, and that was 20 miles to go to Fayetteville. More flat ground. I never thought I'd look forward to hills. There was some decent shoulders on 87 that brought me into Robeson County. Now we're about 20 miles into the trip. More divided highway. Closer to Fayetteville. I was going to end up passing underneath I-95. Here's where it got a little dicey over there to the shoulder. It was pretty rough. I couldn't ride on the shoulder as we neared downtown Fayetteville.
Well, I made it to the city limits, which took me basically 33 miles. Averaged about 22 miles an hour. I think what I'm going to do is just go on down here a little bit, turn around, and head on back home. Back on Highway 87 going south. I hope I can make this, because I'm going to be doing well to average about 19 miles an hour if I'm lucky. Going into a headwind. I'm hoping I'll have a little bit more of a downhill, but there's not much climbing or descending around this place.
About 34 miles from Elizabethtown, and I was optimistic about the 19 miles per hour. It was more like 15, 16 miles per hour. But I kept ticking it off. 29 miles from Elizabethtown, then had to stop because of a bus. Also came across a policeman pulling over a guy on the side of the road. Thankfully he wasn't pulling me over. Now the flags are facing me. 10 more miles to Tar Heel. Just kept rolling along.
miles to Tar Heel, then 10 miles home.
Then we came up on Smithfield Meat Processing Plant where they slaughter hogs.
Oh man, this stinks really, really bad. I'm having to breathe it.
10 more miles to go. Back into Tar Heel.
60 miles in, entering Tar Heel. I don't think I can quite explain how much of a headwind I have. A couple of times it was almost like it was standing me up. This has not been fun coming back. But I'm only 10 miles from home. And thankfully I'm in Smithfield. Oh, then when a truck. Ugh.
Then we got to turn to head toward Bladenboro, which is about the same distance to Bladenboro as it is to Elizabethtown at this point. Just turn on the road and keep on trucking. There's the trash bags.
Worst thing right now are my feet. That and the wind. My feet are really hurting. I might need to get some pads arch to go in my shoes. Oh, I'm ready to stop.
That's a tobacco barn, an old one. You'll see those around. Again, traffic was not light. I had a lot of cars passing me. Everyone was pretty nice though. Only had one blown horn. There's the carrion bird. I was glad he wasn't eating me off of the road. The flags were taunting me. Everywhere I looked, there was a flag showing me the wind was blowing in my face. Some nice shade. It's good to ride there for a little bit. And then squirrel heading off to the side. There he goes. And here I am showing the salt. The wind blowing toward me kept my sweat drying, so I had all kinds of powdery salt all over me. Here's the road, more straight roads going left and right. One goes to Elizabethtown, the other to Lumberton. And here we are, 7 miles to Bladenboro, which means I'm about 2 miles from home. Here we are coming on the straight stretch. It was about 22 miles average going to Fayetteville. By the time I got back, I was averaging 18.5. I was lucky to get up to 16, 17 miles an hour, and I kept watching that average speed drop. But it was a lot of fun. I probably would do it again, though I'd like to find another way to avoid that 4-lane road with the rough shoulders. That was a little scary at that point. So I'd probably find another way of following. But here we are, turning on home stretch.
Oh, I made it. 70 miles. I'm going to go home and just eat something and drink something and lay down.